Soul of the Bay. That was borderline with Madonna.
Oh, thank you very much.
Had to play that one for you.
Thank you. It has been funny, particularly in South America. No one believed my name was Madonna. Everyone just beamed at me when my name was Madonna. They'd ignore Jason instantly, and it was
Really?
back to me. Absolutely. Really quite interesting.
Oh.
Whereas when I was in Italy, like 10 years ago, they were more... It was more a sacrilegious thing to be called Madonna. You know,
really?
Madonna, the Bible. You know, so...
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Which, of course,
I'm
until...
thinking, why? What's wrong with Madonna? She's fine. She's got a great voice.
No, I was...
Religion, Madonna.
Yes.
Oh, now I get it, yeah.
I was 15 when, Madonna became famous.
I
So until then, everyone used to say, oh, nice Catholic name, and then, of course,
Are you
Madonna.
a nice Catholic girl?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I always copped the Sandra D because
Of course.
my last name
How
started
could you
with
not?
D, and all my life it was Sandra D. Sandra
You've
D,
been
Sandra
sang
D.
to many times, I'm sure.
I have. I've had people serenade me. Oh, look, we got even more visitors out the door. I'm just waving to DJ Franny. Madonna's looking to look. We were because we were talking about stress just
Yes.
before the break, obviously. One of the biggest things that people find hard is when they lose control. Like, you know how everyone has a day set in
Yes.
their lives? Right. One thing that doesn't lay out according to your plan will throw you off whack and cause a huge amount of stress.
Yes. And it's one of those that it can be 5 minutes of your day,
Oh, yeah.
and it can destroy the whole rest of the day. And that'll be the blurt on Facebook that people say, oh, this happened this morning, and I go, okay. It's easy, isn't it, for it to get into a mindset.
Yeah.
So there's a part of the brain called the amygdala. When we're under stress, our brain has 1/500th of a second to respond logically and creatively to crisis.
That quick.
Yep.
Like
1/500th of a second.
Yeah.
So you drop the glass in front of the fridge full of milk first thing in the morning, and you're 5 minutes off schedule, and that can blow your amygdala, and it can keep you in that anger, rage, fight.
Sounds dirty. Blowing your what is it?
Blow your amygdala.
Yeah, I can never get my words right around that word. Yeah.
That's funny.
But that's a part of your brain, so that's what we're referring to. So, that whole little bit of stress
Yes.
and lack of control
Yes.
will throw everything out.
And what it is, it's a lack of reintegration in the brain.
Yeah.
So when we have that happen and you're a go with the flow person,
Yeah.
and people are probably go with the flow people because they've actually got fairly good integration of the brain, if you think about it.
Right. Okay.
So they might be, at work and they've got a list of 27 things to do. The boss comes in and give them an extra 3 and says, these need to be done by lunch. They're like, okay, this is my job.
Yeah, but see, look, most of the time those people go home probably falling to bits because they go in autopilot. You know what I mean? Like they hold themselves together.
No, some people are
No?
actually okay with it.
Oh, how do they do it?
I know. I always
Wow.
think they're amazing, but occasionally people tell me, no, I'm fine. And then I see it manifest and I go, oh, that's very, very interesting.
Very
I don't know how
interesting.
they do it, but I think they've got very good resilience, and I think they must have very good brain integration. So, because it's the lack of the ability to get that logical and creative brain back up and running that keeps us in that stress pattern for the rest of the day. So, and that's about breathing.
Yeah.
It's about going to the toilet, taking a moment and just sitting. It's about getting out of the face of whoever is driving you nuts and giving yourself 5 minutes so that your brain can start calming down. But it needs to be a conscious thing, because if it's not conscious, it's unconscious, and that's where your brain already is.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be writing, having a journal, going, that person's driving me nuts today, but hey, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's getting it out of your brain. It's ringing your best friend and saying,
And
I'm having a
breathing.
bad day, just talk me
Yeah.
through it,
Yeah, and you were saying breathing plays a very big part
breathing.
of it. So, and it is true, because a wise woman told me probably a couple of months ago that sometimes in your life, something, when you're born with where you breathe with your belly.
Yes.
Your belly goes out, your belly comes in. Your belly goes out, your belly comes in. And then something in your life has made you go, and
Yes.
then you're up, and then what you're doing is you're breathing from your chest out, and your
Yes.
chest in, and your chest out. So you're holding all that tension, and you carry that tension around with your life all the time.
Yeah.
And then we need to relax to remember we don't need to do that. Breathe.
Yeah.
So no holding the belly in.
Yeah.
Breathe through it.
Yes.
Yeah. And you agree with that? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, definitely. There is, however, some people can't do that because of scar tissue that's built up in the lower lobes of the lung.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
right.
sometimes in the diaphragm, the lower lobes of the lungs, that can actually stop the lungs from the
From
diaphragm.
relaxing a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I did, and it was funny because I did a year's singing lessons, 5 years ago, just for fun, and I could not belly breathe by the end of 12 months.
Wow. Really?
So she would actually take me through 5 minutes of exercise every time. So then I needed to have some chini seng, so abdominal massage, to help to break down the scar tissue. So, and I had pneumonia when I was a baby. So so when I get anything, when I get a cold or a flu, it goes to my chest, and it's usually something that it's just that repatterning from when I was 2 years old. So so sometimes there's scar tissue. So if you're going to yoga and meditation and you're finding that's not working, find someone who does chini seng. So chini seng's the abdominal massage. It takes an hour to do the abdomen and it helps to break down scar tissue and congestion and everything. It just gets things working. It can be.
Because I've been thinking about doing that for a while.
Yeah.
But I do have scar tissue. I've had quite a lot of surgery. So the reason why I was asking is because I don't want to be one of those people that go in, or anyone out there that could be listening right now, going to have this massage and they go, oh, this doesn't feel nice. This is a bit rough. So they expect that this is actually quite.
But I would always say talk to your therapist as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that's really important, because if you are having something done, there will always be painful bits during massage, and if the therapist is doing it correctly, they need to be breaking down scar tissue. Let's face it, if you've got scar tissue, it's not going to be pleasant breaking it down. But on the other hand, the technique is important. So as long as they're doing it in a motion that is helping to break it down slowly and gently and effectively, then it's not as... And you also don't work on one spot for 20 minutes as well,
That's
it's not like whacking in there with your little finger.
We're just going to sit here and just massage that one shoulder bit for 5 minutes and then see you next
That would be mean. That would be mean. But so belly breathing, absolutely. And I think it's something that most people can do. I think
I couldn't do it. Honestly, the lady, the absolute legend lady that told me this, she's very experienced in what she does, and she's been doing it for a long time. And when she told us that we had to start breathing, try to start breathing from our belly, what I do, my voice drops a bit, and I sound very, I don't know, I sound very deep, but I'm relaxed.
Yes.
I'm not tense, I'm not sitting again. And if I was to sit here like this and talk, I'm actually quite tense, but when you relax and you breathe through your belly, you can feel yourself. Yeah. It is a good feeling to get,
Yeah, relaxed is good. Relaxed is good.
We like to get relaxed.
Yeah. So I think exercise is important. Getting those sleep patterns up and running is important. Belly breathing's important. Finding out your cortisol levels from your doctor if you can, or your naturopath, or whoever it is you see along those lines, or finding out whether that's an issue. But it's really about finding something in your life, because it's got to be a habit. These are the sort of things that have got to be a habit. You've heard of gratitude journals.
Yes.
So, Oprah introduced me to them 15 years ago, and I just remember her saying that there's been studies that show that if you write a gratitude journal once a day for 1 month, the improvements that happen in your life happen for 12 months after that.
Yeah, okay.
So for whatever reason, it's about getting that habit, because it's a habit of thinking.
Yeah.
So when you're writing in a gratitude journal at the end of every night, you don't want to be writing the same thing. It's boring.
No,
so it means, imagine, every Friday I went, oh, gee, I'm grateful for Sandy today because she was so fabulous. I don't want to write the same thing.
Why not?
Well, I'm happy to write that, but I would rather give you a different compliment in my gratitude journal each week.
In your gratitude journal, you can just go, oh, that was so yesterday. Stress, breathe, Madonna. Look, it's 11:45. We are just going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be back with a song. After that, we're going to listen to a bit of Van Morrison. Is going to be one of the good songs.
Perfect.
You like Van Morrison?
Oh, yeah,
Love
definitely.
It. Absolutely. This is BAMM 100.3 live and local with Madonna, talking all stressful. She's bringing the stress down for all of us.
Wait long for your doctor's appointment? Visit